I love
Yeah.
it.
The last thing I'd add to that too
Mm,
is, and would be, is ask for advice versus asking for something.
yes.
So I don't mind helping people. Obviously, I'm connected to a bunch of different investors investing in a bunch of different industries. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
my job, is to know, and I'm very connected. And so like when people come to me, I don't mind helping them if they're like, inquisitive and like have that growth mindset. I love helping those people. It's like, who can I connect you to? Especially someone who's very passionate about what they're doing.
Yes.
But again, what is a huge turnoff to me is when someone comes to me and kind of has this expectation of like, hey, you're going to introduce me to people or you're going to invest in my
Entitlement.
company. And it's like, yeah, the entitlement, right? Versus like, hey, what do you think about this? Or like, hey, can I send you over this? And like, what are your thoughts? Like, if you have some time, and also being like mindful. I mean, as an investor, I mean, as a founder, I was super busy, but also as an investor, I'm extremely busy.
Mm,
And so sometimes, like, I will say, the people who continue to like reach out, and again, not in a pushy way, but in like a, hey, Katie, like, how are you? Um, at one point you said that you would make this intro for me. Like sometimes it slips my mind because I have a billion other things going on, and then I'll be
mm-hmm.
like, oh, hey, like I'll make that for you. But what I was going to say is just don't discredit other investors. But again, don't go straight to them and be like, if they're not investing in the industry in which you are playing in, don't expect them to invest, but maybe they have a connection for you.
Yes. Well,
That's,
I think again, I think that applies everywhere. Like, again, I think that comes back to the abundance piece, like we mentioned a little bit ago. Like, if you were
yeah.
coming from abundance, saying, "Hey, Katie, like I don't know if this makes sense or not, but I would love to chat about it," or I'm thinking about the thing that I that bugs me about networking stuff is when somebody messages me, which again I love to help people too. I want to uplift people, encourage them, but when somebody
Yeah.
just says, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" Like, no,
Mm.
like what, like about what? Like, why,
Also,
why
time is valuable.
yeah, why do I need to
Time is
spend 20
valuable.
minutes? Yeah, why do I need to spend 20 minutes talking to you so you can pick my brain? Like, if you have like
Yeah.
a specific question, maybe
Right.
we can talk about that. But that's just
Yeah.
that's a peeve of mine. I'm sure you probably get inundated with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff too. Um, I was really
Create the
curious.
relationship.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But I was really curious because I feel like we've kind of touched on this a little bit already. But you said you love coffee, right? Obviously, you are working
Mm-hmm.
with a ton of smaller coffee shops, all of those kind of things in Austin. But what do you think that big brands, like some of the ones you mentioned earlier, what do you think like
Mm-hmm.
those big brands are missing that the small local shops get right?
Oh, that's a good question. What are they missing? I think honestly, I think about this more and more. Quality has gone down.
Mm,
Um, and I'm just gonna say it. For example, like Lululemon, they care. And right, I'm a capitalist. Like I love making money, but I'm also a conscious capitalist. Like let me frame that. Like I like making money, but it has to benefit everyone, right? Like we all win. Like I live in
mm-hmm.
that space, so I might think about it a little bit differently. But Lululemon, for example, and I've called out the CEO on this on LinkedIn a couple of times because all he cares about is the shareholders, which I get it. Again, you have to care about your shareholders, but making a good product, a long lasting product, is also part of it. And I think we've kind of lost that over, I would say,
Yeah.
I mean, the McDonald's toy I was telling you about, right? Like it was a legit McDonald's toy, and now it's
Yep.
like crap.
I
Like the
remember
same
those.
thing
Mm-hmm.
with like the refrigerators and the washing machines, right? Like the quality has just gone down. And to me, the smaller coffee or like smaller businesses in general, like they care mostly about quality, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they have to care about the quality in order to have the customers continually come back. And so I think that's what it all comes down. I think is we're getting away from quality, or the bigger businesses are getting away from quality, and that's where the smaller businesses are doing it better.
I love that. And I honestly, I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't have like I said, like I don't have the experience with Lululemon necessarily, but like I've had experiences in like in the sales world, especially where, like I said, the shareholders are really kind of king. Like it's all
Yeah.
about making sure that they're, I don't know what it is, like make sure they're not just like complaining all the time or upset about whatever we lost 2% or whatever the thing was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious if you don't mind indulging me a little bit. I had this kind
Yeah.
of a discussion with people before. Is like personally for me, I think like as business people and entrepreneurs and business owners and things, we kind of have to. I feel like we have to like have a good balance between like focusing on our employees, making sure that they're doing okay, and focusing on
Mm-hmm.
our customers, right? And for me
Yep.
personally, I think our first focus should be on our employees and then on
Mm-hmm.
our customers. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a twofold, right?
Yep.
But I agree, your team is everything. If you don't have a team, I mean, zero, like 100% of zero is still zero, right?
Right.
So
Yep. Yes.
I think it is super important. And I mean, I've been around the block a time or two where I wasn't valued on teams. And for me, it wasn't easy, especially with our generation now and like
Yeah.
Gen Z. We care more about being around people where we're valued, being in areas where we're valued versus, just grinding it out and being miserable. So
Hmm.
I think, especially with where we are with our generations, team is very important. First, and then your team takes care of your customer, so it's a win-win-win for everyone
Yes.
when you take care of your team first.
Yeah. A rising tide floats all boats, right?
Correct.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are any like kind of harder lessons you've learned, in your, long history of entrepreneurship and various roles? Are there any like really hard earned lessons that you feel like have influenced how you do things now, or something that you carry forward into in your role now?
I've learned a lot. It's interesting with this whole tariff situation.
Mm,
So we're looking at a couple of companies. We're doing some due diligence on a couple of our companies, and again, I'm more on the fundraising side, but I have a team of people under me that I kind of advise and make sure that we're asking the right questions because they're kind
mm,
of newer. So there's a lot for them to learn, right? Like
right.
you have your standard questions when doing due diligence on companies, but to me, it's like how do we think deeper and like get more under the hood?
Mm,
So, for example, with this tariff situation, there's a lot of uncertainty. And when I mean uncertainty, right, like we have no idea what's going to happen or like what's happening with the markets,
yeah.
no matter what you're investing in.
Hmm.
So my job is to make sure that I'm in the know and talking to even our LPs about what it is that they're afraid of and what they think is going to happen and how they're managing their clients' money. So when I say our potential LPs, remember RIAs, so registered investment agents, so people who manage wealthy people's money.
Hmm.
So when talking to them and going back to the companies, so we did some due diligence on some companies. One of them has a client or a customer, and for their 2026 projected revenue,
Hmm.
like 90% of their revenue was going to be coming from Rolls Royce. So as we know, Rolls Royce is not a US based
Yeah.
company.
Yep.
And one of the things my team didn't think about is like how is that going to affect that contract, because that is a projected um
Yep.
like even though the contract's in place, I mean, Rolls-Royce has a ton of money. They could easily, if they wanted to, be like, we want out of the contract, and they have the funds to do it versus the
Hmm.
startup. It's a startup. So they're not going to have the funds to go to litigation with Rolls-Royce over a contract. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, thinking about that, and the only not, I wouldn't say the only reason, but because my startup was heavily affected. I mean, when I say heavily, COVID crushed it.
Mm,
COVID crushed my company when I'm real about it. And so that was like the biggest lesson, or not the biggest, but it's one of the big lessons that I've learned is like you just have no idea what is over the horizon. And so making sure that, one, relationships are everything. So cultivating relationships with a bunch of different people, I highly recommend. So that they can help you navigate certain issues, but also help you be aware of maybe potential issues that are over the horizon.
mm,
But just thinking about things differently like that. And again, my founder experience from no one could have predicted that COVID was going to happen and then it affecting my startup. And then again, with this tariff uncertainty, right? Like, what does that mean for um, anyone who's manufacturing outside of the United States? So, anyways, just keeping that in mind. But that's more fresh, obviously, as you can
right.
tell.
Right.
But there's a lot. I mean, man, I could give you a whole list of stuff.
Well, Katie, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I mean, I love that. That's really been fantastic. As we kind of
Yeah.
wind down our episode today, I mean, what's kind of on the horizon for you? What's 2025 looking like? What's kind of the big goals you've got?
Whew. Yeah, so we're fundraising for Stony Lonesome Group. Like I said, I love what we do because we're really making an impact in national security. It's literally
Mm,
right time, right place. So that's a goal of mine. I'm gonna go to Peru. Personal side note, I'm gonna go to
love it.
Peru. Yeah, I need a vacation, and
Yeah.
Machu Picchu is calling me. So
Enjoy it.
um, yeah, and then I would say lastly is digital athlete. It's kind of teaser, it's in the crypto digital asset space, and so obviously very different from Stony Lonesome Group, but that's what I love is I get to do all these different things. And yeah, so those three things I'm really excited about. And yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Well, Katie, thank you again for coming on the show today. This has been
Yeah,
absolutely
thanks for having me.
fantastic. Where can people, connect with you if they want to connect?
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn is the best
Mm.
spot. So if you are listening to this episode and you want to connect, send me a message and let me know that you listen to Jacob Hicks's podcast, and I will gladly accept your friend request because I've gotten to the point where I don't accept everyone's, but if I know where we're connecting, I'll connect with you.
I love it. Well, I'll make sure to put the link to your LinkedIn in the show notes so people
Yeah,
can find you. Make sure to put
great.
that message in there, put my name in there.
Yes,
Otherwise, you might get lost in the sauce
exactly.
here. But Katie, thank you again. This has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a
All right,
pleasure.
anybody listening, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.